The job of a plumber can be a difficult one and often relies on the completion of a task in the quickest way possible. The more assignments you complete, the more you earn after all. So join us as we take a look at some of the most ingenious plumbing hacks that can be used to save both time and money. Number 1. Harsh water treatment. First up on our list is a hack that can be used by anyone, regardless of whether they have any professional plumbing experience or not. We've all experienced what it feels like to get a harsh flow of water into the house, right? Unfortunately for us though, this often results into the buildup of hard-to-clean grime in a ring-like formation in the toilet. And it doesn't matter how hard you scrub with your toilet brush, this grime is only coming off if you have the necessary cleaning detergent, which can be both expensive and hard to get a hold of. That being said, the majority of homeowners have come to discover that there's a much simpler way to get rid of this water line that requires absolutely zero skill. Head on over to your local hardware store and buy a pack of 2,000 grit sandpaper. As it turns out, this specific sandpaper is not hard enough to scratch the porcelain of the toilet bowl, but does the job of eradicating this water line in next to no time at all. It might sound ridiculous to sand your toilet when your brush simply isn't doing the job, but at least try it for yourself sometime. We guarantee that you'll be happy with the results, but make sure that the sandpaper you buy is no harsher than 2,000 grit, otherwise things might appear a bit scratchy. Number 2. The easy removal of shark bite fittings. Although the community of professional plumbers is a great one to be a part of, it's not without some members who don't seem to care about how others need to take over from them. More often than not, professionals find themselves facing an absolute mess of an installation or leak which has been made worse by a poor attempt from a homeowner or unprofessional plumber. One of the most frustrating scenarios is one where a shark bite fitting has been tightened too close to a wall or other surface, not allowing you to loosen it with the tools that you have at your disposal. For those of you who don't know, the loosening of a shark bite fitting is actually pretty easy. All it requires is a simple twist of your dedicated piping wrench. But when the fitting is too close to another surface, a piping wrench is often too big to loosen the fitting as it's supposed to. Luckily for you though, the solution can be rectified with a small segment of cord. All you have to do is wrap the cord behind the fitting and start to pull it in your direction while making a flossing motion. The friction caused by the rubbing cord will result in the shark bite fitting popping off the piece of pipe in next to no time at all. This might be a bit more difficult with the fitting that has been over tightened, but all you really have to do is budget enough for your dedicated wrench to do the remainder of the work. Next, number 3, the drilling of piping holes made easy. Another job that a great many plumbers have to attend to is the drilling of piping holes, which are sections through which piping is often laid. More often than not, this is done by making use of the circular attachment on a battery-powered drill. But anyone who has tried to do so will be able to tell you that this can be very demanding. You see, the weight placed on the circular attachment has to be equal throughout, as only then will the entire segment be drilled out with ease. Not as easy as simply drilling a singular hole with the ordinary drill bit, but we're here to tell you that the process can actually be made a lot easier. After measuring out the hole that you wish to drill, attach the attachment in question and ensure that your measurements are correct. It might be a good idea to use a pencil to outline the attachment, showing precisely where you want to be drilling. After this has been done, remove the attachment and drill 4 relief holes along the base of the larger circular hole. This allows for the buildup sawdust to exit the backs of these smaller holes, making the entirety of the process so much easier at the end of the day. It might take longer to start drilling, but you'll actually find yourself saving a lot more time by doing this. Number 4. When the flange doesn't fit. Jobs that require piping replacements often also call for a number of chrome flanges to be installed as well. The problem is that these flanges don't always fit over the piping in question, leaving many plumbers with the horrifying experience of having to head off to the hardware store in the middle of a job. But before you find yourself doing that, try this next simple hack to see whether the trip can actually be avoided. Turn the flange around so that it's facing the opposite direction that it should be. The hole on the inside is often bigger, allowing for the pipe to often fit through it when the flange was at first too small. Softly wriggle the flange around the pipe to widen that hole, but not too much as to loosen it completely. Once done, slide the flange off and turn it right side up. It should fit when you attempt to slide it over the pipe this time around. If the flange is the complete wrong size though, the trip won't be able to be avoided, so make sure that you have a solid selection with you at all times. Number 5. The soldering of a vertical joint. The soldering of a vertical joint can also be pretty difficult when it comes to a pipe that is filled to the brim with water. And since turning the water of a residence off doesn't eradicate what is already in the piping, this is a situation that helps a lot more often than you might think. And as you can imagine, the soldering of a pipe or fitting isn't exactly helped by the frigid water within. How do you get rid of this water though, as it's it's not like every other plumber has a turkey baster in his back pocket. Well, as it turns out, a piece of PVC piping is just as useful. All you really need to do is put the smaller PVC piping down the vertical copper pipe and allow for it to fill with water. Place your thumb over the open end of the PVC pipe to trap the water inside. Remove the plastic piping while retaining the water in this way, and you'll be able to solder to your heart's content. And if you don't have PVC piping on you, are you even a professional plumber in the first place? Number 6. The unblocking of a faucet's aerator. While investigating a leak, you might also come to find that a client's aerator is blocked in their main faucet. And while you could definitely remove this by hand, it can be pretty difficult. Using a pair of adjustable pliers is obviously a lot easier, but the metal tongs will be sure to scratch up the aerator while leaving the client pretty unhappy with the finished job. What you can do is turn the pliers around and use the rubber handles to clasp onto the aerator. It might feel strange at first, but this is a lot better for the maintenance of the aerator's aesthetic and will leave it loose enough to screw by hand. Then you can simply unblock the aerator and attach it to the faucet once more, saving the client the hassle of having to replace a pipe later down the line. Number 7. Soldering with an ever-present flow of water. Last but not least, many plumbers have been faced with the terrible job of soldering a portion of pipe from which water appears to be forever flowing. As it turns out, some piping systems continue to circulate water regardless of time spent with the water shut off. And as we mentioned earlier, soldering a pipe that has water running through it can be pretty difficult, if not impossible. What you can always do to stop this flow of water, though, is get yourself a compression valve and install it a bit further down the line from the pipe. This will allow you to shut off the flow and solder the best you can. This should always be the last resort though, as compression valves are bulky and shouldn't be a commonplace. And remember, if you're already a plumber running your own business or just about to start and grow your own business, you must learn the 4 critical things plumbing business owners wish they had learned before starting a plumbing business so you don't make the same mistakes. Plumber Accelerator has put together a free training video you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your plumbing business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work and free up your time, all while reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you'll also learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand and with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word-of-mouth referrals, how to stop competing on price with other plumbers and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that'll be happy to pay more. Make sure to click the link in the description below. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.